Hi, it's Robbie from Southern California. It's early in the morning, and here's what I'm starting. I pulled my first tote. This has been here for quite a few years. I'm going to be very gentle with it. And underneath, the roots could not get to it, and no tree roots like I always talk about. So let's back up. Now, these trees that do send their roots into the totes, my tote garden to get water, could not get there. See how high up the holes are? That is perfect. But if any soil got pushed up, then they can go through the soil, because they can't come up and through, but they can go through the soil and go in. So you have to keep the soil away from the holes. The moment you get some soil moved up to it, they can go through any soil to get in there. So all of these have been really good. But I'm going to move them. And I think in between I might put some walking onions or something in floral pots or flower pots around here. Now I'm going to see how many I can set up there. And here's the thing that's great. We're in fall. If I do this now, I am not rushing in the spring to come out to grow. All I have to do is come out here and push a seed in the ground or put a plant in there right in the beginning of spring. Even if it's too early, it doesn't make it, I put another one in there. But I'm ready. I'm not coming out here like a crazy person trying to get all this done and plant. I'm going to plant and not have to get anything done because it's all going to be done now. So if I did one tote a week, I could have more than all this done before spring. But I think I can do more than one tote a week. I'm going to go through them. Look how much the soil has collapsed over the years. I haven't planted in it this year, and I'm going to move that. I'm going to throw it in my wheelbarrow, and then I'm going to move totes. I'm going to get 3 of them set up there, maybe 4. Haven't decided. If I want to have a little bit more space for the plants to grow, then I go with 3 over here. But if I don't care, then I can, put 4. But we'll see. I'm not sure on that. And then the rest, I'm going to go through all the chairs as well. I want to freshen them up. I'm taking all the weeds out, that, the dried up leaves. That's all going in the bottom. And then only on the top will I have a little bit of soil. Look, that looks like it's a tomato plant trying to grow here. A seed was in there, which I have noticed in the fall here. I have tomato plants that are taking off in my chair garden. They're just growing like mad. I keep picking and I keep getting tomatoes. I can't stop the tomato plants. Even the strawberries are growing. And look, I've got a squash trying to grow. I don't know. With a little loving care, it didn't get pollinated, that one. I'm not sure, but I wouldn't try to grow any new squash plants now. Established squash plants may throw some zucchini, because with zucchini, that's the only one you'd be able to really grow, is because you can eat those little, and most people like them little, or eat them when they're big. When it comes to pumpkins or any of your other squash, spaghetti squash, you can eat them when they're real little. Sometimes they're really good and sometimes they're a little bitter. But the point is, on this zucchini, if you've got established plants, you can give them a little bit of liquid fertilizer, which I make my own, my compost tea in the bucket back there, just by taking leaves and rotting them. You can play around with them and get a few last ones before the cold snap comes in completely. But right now, my goal is to get this done. I think this is going to be exciting. Then I can get more done. I mean, that's the problem. I'm working on projects and other things, and I'm not doing what I'm not concentrating on what I need to do. And what I need to do is be ready, at least in some areas. So the wall garden, and that's what this is, what I call it, the wall garden, that's going to all be changed up. As I go, I can change things up too, but I'm going to leave the chairs. They're pretty well established. This one, I'm not even sure what's in here. I think this is just garlic chives in a pot. Yeah, see, all of them have to be redone. They're all in really good shape. They've been here, I'm trying to think. That's been 2020. And then this would have been probably also 2020, 2021. Things were changed around. So you're looking at about 4 years. So they're doing really good. And I want to make sure there's soil in them and leaves and keep them watered. If I don't, and they're constantly in the heat of the sun, that's when they start to break down. And they generally break down around the rims. The top, because it's sticking out in the air. And you can just ignore that. But we're going to do a whole lot more in the spring. You'll see what I'm going to do. And so we won't have to maybe even worry about that. But right now, my goal is get this set up. I don't know if I'll leave the colored totes there or not. Probably not. I think I'd like to have it just blend in and look more like nature on that side, except for my colorful bench that Gary painted and my red chair that I painted, and kind of work, you know, make it look more natural. This, yes, a little more pizzazz with color, but this one, no, I think I want it more plain. All right, I'm gonna get back to work and we'll see how much I get done, at least for one day, and then we'll see how long it will take me to at least get it set up in the fashion in which I want to grow in. And remember, you can do the same thing too. You want to start setting up now and collect all the leaves you can. It doesn't matter what it is. They all break down to what you see up there. The leaves are piling and creating their own soil. That is how nature works. That's how it works all over the world. The trees drop their leaves, they pile, they rot. And you want to collect leaves and twigs, because the twigs carry a lot of minerals in there, things that may not have even gotten into the leaves. So if you remember that, you're going to do really good. All right, let's get some stuff done and see what I can do. Okay, in this short time I've been out here, I moved that tote, which I'm going to start collecting all these weeds and dried leaves and stuff. I'm going to put it into that gray one, but look at here. Oh, and I repotted the walking onions, so that should do really good there. So I think I'm going to go with it. The totes on chairs and then some pots in between. Again, it can all be changed up later. I went ahead and pulled the Swiss chard out. I don't think it's going to make it. I really took off most of the roots. But it was an empty pot anyways. Nothing was in it. Just kind of refurbished, putting in some more soil. But look at here. I just pulled this one from the wall, and that's what I said. Look at the back. Look at this. This. Oh my goodness. I can't even. Got to be careful. I don't want to break my tote. Let's pull this back so you can see it. That's a tree root. I'm going to have to break it off. And it looks like it could be a sumac, but then there is a pine tree over here. Let's step back. And the pine trees and, well, there's a lot of trees that are bad around here. Ficus trees are bad. Pepper trees are bad. It's probably from this. You still can't see it. There is a pine tree here, believe it or not. Let's see. There it is. It was tiny and it started to take off and grow. And then you got this pine tree here too. So I've got two of them. So what they do is they can go all the way down, send their roots underneath the cement slab that's there, the footing for the wall, and then they come back up and find out. Now there is one other thing. Let's turn around here. We have all the trees here. It could be the pepper. You could break it and smell it. If it kind of has a peppery smell, then you know it's coming from the pepper tree. If you break it off and it smells a little bit piney, you know it's coming from the pine tree. And if it doesn't smell like anything, it could be sumac, it could be ficus, because we do have a ficus tree there. And they are notorious. They can go so far and get into people's plumbing pipes, especially the old ones that used to be cast iron. That's what they can go through. They wrap around the cast iron and they work and work and work and work until it starts to rust a little bit, and they eventually get into cast iron pipes. So whatever it is, I'm going to break it off. It's not coming back. They can't climb chairs, and I can compost it. But that is exactly what I wanted to show you, because that hole was too low. See how low that hole was? I made those higher. It found the low hole, and then the dirt piled up, so it came through and into the tote. All right, well, we got rid of one problem. That could be why I had some squash and things growing in there and they died right away. They'll start to grow, and then as soon as the squash or the plant takes off, they're pulling all the nutrients out, and they do kill other plants. So either way, that's gone. So I think that is going to be the best way. I can keep an eye on pots, because you could just grab them if they get stuck with roots from other plants and just break it. But when it comes to totes, it's a little harder to pull, especially when they have the proper amount of soil, which would be much closer to the top. But you don't have to go all the way to the top. Sometimes I leave a good 6-8 inches and it works perfect. I've grown in it halfway down and they do really good. But let's get that out and get that root out. That is exactly what I wanted to show you. If you tried to grow a garden right here, just the way it is, you would have the same problem. All the roots would get into your garden and it would deplete vegetable plants. We're not talking about other trees. They seem to all get along and fend for themselves. But the vegetable plants, they're fast growing. They need a lot of nutrition. It could be from the rotting leaves or whatever is in there, but they will rob vegetable plants. Now, if you had a raised bed here, one of those $300 raised beds, you'd have the same problem if you don't have a bottom. If you put cement on the bottom and there's still holes, they will go through the cement. You would have to have a complete tarp in there, waterproof, and then how are you going to have it drain? Because if the water can drain out, the roots can come in. Keep that in mind. So if you have a raised bed and you're in a garden and you've got all kinds of trees around your landscaping, that could be an issue. That's why I really like things up and off the ground. All right, I'm going to take care of that right now. Okay, so Gary just texted me and said tortillas are ready. That's what he makes for breakfast with leftovers. So I'm going to go do that, and I think I'm going to call it quits for this morning. So let me show you what I've done. I've taken these totes that I've emptied, and this one of them had the root, and I cut the root off. So that is now gone, and now I'm just loading it up with whatever I can find. I'm going to add in some green matter to it, some leaves, maybe some colored leaves to it. I'm going to get 2 set up here, 3 set up there, and then 1 more on the chair. And I think that's going to be enough. It won't be too crowded here, but this wall gets warm, and boy, the zucchini should just drape over, and it'll give me a chance to tool it or do what I need if the squirrels come in next year. But in the meantime, I should be able to, in the next week or 2, finish it, and I'll let you know in a minute why that clump is sitting there and I'm not going to use it. Now, here, this should take me, like I said, a week or 2, if I can be consistent to come out here. And what I've been doing is collecting different things. There's the root, and I cut that off that tote. And then I'm going to go ahead and put pots in between. You saw me redo the onions. That's walking onions. So there's more soil in there. Then I've got the Swiss chard. I don't know if the Swiss chard will make it. I cut all the roots off, but I put it there for now. I've got a beautiful garlic chive right here. And as I've been going through, let me see in my pocket. I got my pocket. I've been collecting the walking onions because they're all over, the baby walking onions. And I got a feather. I don't know what bird that's from offhand. Let me go put this back in my pocket so I don't lose anything. But I'm working on a project that I use feathers, so when I find something nice, I use it. So anyways, that's what I've been doing here. Now, real quick, tell me if you want to see me build this wall up, because I want to get this done now. So in the spring, I can just come out here and just start planting seeds. Plus, I can always plant things even right now until the weather gets really bad, once it's all set up. So I'm going to read the comments. I'm going to see if you say, yes, we want to see these videos of the update of the wall garden. Or if you don't want it, say, no, I'm bored, don't need to see it. And this way I'll know if I should continue to grab clips off of this as I work. And I don't want to bore anybody, but this is what I'm going to be doing every morning before breakfast. And then the rest of the day I do whatever I have to do. Now, the reason I'm not using this soil right now is because when I tipped it, it was full of those sow bugs, and they're running all over the place. You can probably see them in the back. They're just, well, they're in here. And there's one. So what I'm going to do is I'm leaving it there. Their home's been disrupted, and they'll take off. Then tomorrow I can load that in here and start to use it. There's nothing wrong with them when I'm not growing in them, because they're going to break down too. They're wonderful for breaking down and creating soil, but I don't need so many of them. So let them take off and do their thing. Then I'll break that up tomorrow, put it in the wheelbarrow, and start loading it into the totes. And this way, most of them will be gone by then. There might be earthworms, so I'll hit that with a little water so it stays damp and doesn't dry out, because this is going to be a fabulous place for melons and squash and everything to grow. Anything that's heat loving is going to love this wall. Maybe I'll trim those that are growing down. They grow beautiful purple flowers. I'm not sure, I'll see, but as time goes on I can trim a little bit, and they're spreading because I've been watering them. But that is what's going on in the morning. So again, tell me if you want to see this, so this way I know what you want to see, and you'll hopefully see it done, I'm hoping in about 2 weeks, where I can step back and still add leaves to it. I can do all that all through the winter, and then come spring, just top it with a little potting soil or soil from another tote, because we don't use any plant food. When this is loaded up with leaves, It's going to create all the plant food like Mother Nature does for all these plants that are growing around here. And then I don't have to think about anything unless I want to make some compost tea and add it in. But that is what creates our soil to grow in. Some people just call it compost, whatever. This is how Mother Nature does it, and this is the way I do it. And there won't be any tree roots in any of these totes, including those. And that's going to really solve my problem. And I could make a tulle fence around here. You'll see that in the spring if I need it. If the squirrels start bothering it, well, then I'm going to go build that. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to go have some breakfast. I've been working out here, and all those snail shells you see there, they're all empty. And the reason they're probably empty is we do have skunks, and the skunks will sit here and eat the snails. They love snails. We also have the assassin snails, and they eat, I think that's what they call them, and they eat snails too. So it could be that as well, but regardless, they're all eaten, and that's a good thing. So with that, have a wonderful day. And I'm going to go eat, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye. I really got a whole lot done today.